Hey everyone, and welcome to Track Day Manager. I don't even think I've ever played this game on the channel, to be honest. I think I've tried to make a few videos before, but that was on my old laptop and it couldn't run this game to save its life. Well, now I can actually run this game to save my life. So let's play Track Day Manager. Now, to be honest, this is actually quite a dead game. The developers don't seem to be doing much with it. I mean, well, they stopped developing it, then they were making a Track Day Manager 2, and we've heard bumpkiss on that for a while, and I'm subscribed to a Steam thread about it, and I've seen no updates for about 6 months. So things aren't looking that good, but thankfully the servers are still going. You can still play this game, though for a while that wasn't quite true. But I really want to get, the reason why I'm playing this game, and kind of the reason why I'm recording it, is A, I do genuinely enjoy the game because you have a Viper race car, something you can't say of Motorsport Manager. Well, to be fair, they do, I mean, you still can't get a Viper race car, but they didn't even have GT3 style cars until a recent DLC, so I'd be more tempted to get Motorsport Manager for that reason now. But yeah, because I didn't really care for the Formula 1 motorsport management side, but definitely this GT3 racing side I'm quite intrigued by. But also because I really want an upgrade, and it's called Raptor Enthusiast, and I don't have it yet, which is very, very irritating, as you might be able to imagine. So what I want to do, what I quite like to do, is get enough money to upgrade everything here. We're very nearly close. I don't really care about the marketing, but the crew we've done completely. So fuel refill is quick. The tire, well, the jacking up the car is quick. The actual changing of the tires is not the fastest, but it's far ahead of the fuel, and the fuel is all the way there. So tires I'm not really bothered with. The driver we still need to do. So perception, reaction time, and then what's that? Handling. We need to finish all of this, and as you can see, it's 1,400 points. I'm only at 3,875, so we got a lot of races to do, so about 4 episodes, depending on how we do. So if we do poorly, it's going to be maybe 6 episodes. If we do well, top 5 and up, we might get to a high enough number here that we'll be able to upgrade all of these. Because I think it's like 1,400 per little quarter star, which is painful. Incredibly painful. So the goal is to at least upgrade one of those in about, hold on, what tires do I want? I want softs. The goal is to upgrade at least one of those stars to full in about 4 or 6 episodes, and then we'll do the others as time goes on. So hopefully that goes well. So let's see where we're, okay, we're not even the first person to start here, which is quite unfortunate. So something I also kind of learned a little, well, I say a little while ago, I was testing because I upgraded the graphics because they were all on good before, so I did a little test run. So now we're on expensive, so everything looks cool. So what you can do in this game is you can zoom all the way out and have this like angled 3D map bird's eye view of the track. So we're right now in the top right corner here going around this massive right hand sweeper. We're going to go a little bit faster. So I can sort of, in this game, I can sort of control the driver. So I can make him go faster, I can tell him when to overtake, although occasionally he'll overtake on his own. This little thing here is a curve system, which, the way I have my car set up, because you can change what it does, you can buy curves that, I guess, makes the car more efficient, or curves that gives you more power. And I have curves for more power, because I like using it for sort of like a press to pass kind of thing. So at the moment, we're going to make him go a little bit faster. This is basically just, you know, if in doubt, flat out mode, essentially. And we're going to use all the curves down to this back straight. First place. So that's good, but we still have a few other cars left. We have, okay, we have 3 cars left now. Are we still first? It's looking good so far. So I'm kind of explaining this game because it's been a really, really long time. Fail Race actually used to do videos on this game, and I quite liked watching those. So I would, you know, after watching this video, type in Fail Race Track Day Manager, and you can watch his videos there of when this game was popular. But yeah, for the moment, I'm just gonna kind of explain this game because I'm sure most of you won't have ever seen this game, so it'll be quite new to you. So I want to explain the best that I can. So this is the far out view. You don't have to have this view though. You can have a sort of by car view, which is what I like doing, purely because you can control when the driver overtakes, when the driver won't do an overtake on their own. I like being close enough in the action so I can judge when I'll tell my driver to overtake. At the moment we're in first, and by a good margin as well, so I'm not really going to do anything now. So this being a manager game or a management game, there's a bit of strategy that comes into it. And because it's a motorsport game, a lot of the management is a lot like Formula One or Le Mans or any other racing series like that goes on for some time. So basically what I'm getting at is a lot of the strategies you have to think of are very, very, they're just parallels to the ones that you would see in motorsport. So let's say Ferrari lets Mercedes there, Shutter Racing, they let them get the pass because they're going on a more fuel saving strategy to try and go a little bit longer so they can pit later and pit less, which is roughly the strategy I'm going for right now. I'm not trying to pit that frequently. I want to pit a little bit less. Now, to be fair though, whereas in Formula One, there's a little bit more uniqueness, I would say, in terms of the strategy. In this game, the best strategy I found is always pit one lap after the AI, and that's because once the AI pits, you go flat out. If in doubt, flat out for one lap, get as much of a gap as possible, then pit, get all your stuff done, and then go back out. Because unless you have everything upgraded or you have a good pitting position, once you pit, you're going to be in roughly the same position as you were after they refuel the car and change the tires. So there's no real point in pitting at the exact same moment because you're not going to gain a position that way. Or at the very least, you may gain one position. So pitting one lap after allows you to get in first, and if you're up near the front like I am, when the leader pits, I'll have an even bigger gap, because if you pit one lap after in about 10th, you'll probably end up maybe 8th or 7th because you're not going to get to the front of the field as soon as you would at the front. So when they come out of pit lane and re-enter the track, you're not going to be as far ahead. So it's all about maximizing, as far as I'm concerned, it's all about maximizing your pit strategy. So you can't pull a James May like when they did that Top Gear challenge a long time ago, where Jeremy drove the Jaguar XJ, I think it was like a twin turbo diesel, and then James drove the Subaru Legacy diesel Outback thing, and then Richard Hammond drove that VW Polo Blue Motion, and they had to do the what was that event called that the BBC was hosting? The something lights, where Jeremy was like, I declare these lights on. So you can't pull a James May from that challenge where you go so slowly that you don't even make it on time, but you can't go so fast that you don't make it at all. So it's a very good balance. So I've just seen that the leader has gone into the pit. So let's extend our gap a little bit as much as we can. Use as much fuel as possible, which is not really good because you want the refuel to be fast, but because I've pretty much maxed out the refueling as far as I know, I'm not really going to be in trouble there. The tires is what's always slower than the fuel. So even if I get down to God knows what percentage, it's not really going to matter. So hopefully now we have enough of a gap, but I don't think the person behind me has to pit. No, they've got enough fuel and they've got good tires. So, but hopefully with me having pit later, please put on hards. Sometimes it kind of glitches out and it doesn't put on the right tire. Okay. Mostly when it glitches, it's you not choosing a tire at the start of the race when you pit, so it'll just default to something. But anyway, so the goal here is we have 6 more laps to do. If I don't do anything, Enersys Racing should pit pretty soon, and hopefully I'll be able to leapfrog them and get back in first. But that's the potential folly of this plan is that I'm in 11th right now. So if I don't get a move on it and get at least close to 10th, maybe not past them, but at least get close, by the time they get out of the pit, I might not actually be all that far ahead of them. I might not even get first. So this again has come full circle back to the fact that you have to go fast enough to actually be able to leapfrog them, but not so fast that you run out of fuel or tire and you have to pit again with one lap left. So again, you have to be really, really smart about it. Normally what I would do is I turn my ECU on, because the ECU gives me a little bit more power, because I have a power-based ECU, not an economy-based ECU. And that'll bring up the temperature to about 123, but it gives me more power. So more power out of the corners, so I get a higher higher top speed, better acceleration, and higher top speed at the end of the long straight here and here. But it also, as a result, it uses more fuel. The thing is that we had about 30% fuel at the end of, or when we went into the pits for lap 5 going on to lap 6. So hopefully we'll be at about 15% fuel by lap 12? I'm not entirely sure. Because, see, this is kind of my point. Oh, wait, no, they're pitting. So I don't know who's pitted here. But let's assume that they're somewhere up here. I'm at this part of the track right now. There's no way I'm catching up. Let's see. Okay, no. This is first right now. And they've got 2% fuel. So we're well within striking distance. But again, this comes to that point where, oh, they're also going to pit. See, I've got significantly more fuel and more tire, which is nice. So again, this brings us back to that delicate balance of you have to go fast enough to be able to do what we're doing here, but not so fast that you're going to run out of fuel 4 laps away from now. Sorry, 3 laps away from now. So we have someone behind us right now. It's actually Enersys Racing. They're on softs and they've got more fuel. Annoyingly, they'll probably catch us. In fact, they are trying to catch us right now, judging from the fact that they're using I think it's called the overload. So let's read this so you understand what it is. Overload tells the driver to drive the engine well past its maximum limits. This aggressive driving style will raise the temperature as long as it is active, and be careful not to burn the engine. This mode uses extra fuel. So this just makes the car faster down the straight. It makes it, as far as I can tell, makes the driver a little bit more aggressive on corner exit and whatnot. So I could use the overload and the ECU and the curves defensively right now to keep Enersys behind me. How did you just run into them like that? Just stay with Enersys and you'll be fine. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I want to chase after Enersys. I really, really do. But I don't want to use more fuel than I have to because we're at about 30% right now, so we might be 15 by about the 12th lap. So I don't want to do anything. Like, second is still really, really good. I don't want to do anything that's going to put me in more jeopardy than I have to. Or, sorry, put me in more jeopardy than I'd like to be in. Rip Alex Trebek. I don't need to make my situation worse than it already is. That's completely unnecessary. And also, I'd like to say that this game is multiplayer. I'm not sure if the multiplayer servers are still up, but because you can see this little click here to chat thing. So, if there was enough people online, you could do a proper online motorsport management session, which would be... I never had the chance to do it, annoyingly. So, it'd be awesome if I could find a group of people who would like to, once or twice do this game again, or play this game again for one last multiplayer session and do our best. Though to be fair, I'm not even fully upgraded. Yeah, I know. So we're doing... See, here's the scary part. Do we have enough fuel to actually make it to the end of the race? Because we have this other half of the track left. So they're on softs and they have significantly more fuel than me. So I'm probably going to be in like 4th. Because LG is right behind Motul right now. And I'm not going to use block. Because I don't want the driver to use more fuel, assuming they will. Yeah, oh wait, no, Track Day Manager's all the way down here. So 4th isn't even close. So at worst, wait, Motul's not even up here. They're 3 seconds behind. So we're going to keep second, provided, okay, 5% fuel. I've got a thing that says I have to run out of fuel by the end of the race. So let's try and run out. I needed to run out of fuel for one more race. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I actually completed that. Because the thing in this game is you can also get sponsors. So they'll say, oh, you got to get, fastest sector in the race, or use the least amount of fuel, don't have as many accidents, which apparently I've had, or incidents. I've had 43 incidents, apparently. And I think at the moment I've only got one sponsor, and I might have completed it, because I know I ran out of fuel and finished the race not long ago. So, and I think in the session I didn't record when I was testing the graphic settings to make sure this game would run at 60 FPS. I think I got fastest sector at a point, so we should be good there. Not that I'm going to be able to check right now. Because we got 2 more races to do after this. Alright, so we came second. That's pretty good. That's really good. I'm not completely well versed in the strategy of this track. There's certain strategies that work for very, very specific tracks, like almost exclusively for certain tracks. Well, I say that the one lap strategy works largely for every track, but as far as winning and stuff goes, how far you leave it is a good. That kind of variation matters. 10 laps, we'll go hard. But yeah, as far as how far you leave your driver out there after the AI pits, that's the kind of variation that's the kind of variation in strategy that or certain tracks have. I'm completely brain farting. What I'm trying to say is how long you leave your driver out there varies between track to track. Some way more than others. Some you have to do one lap after because of the length or any other reason, and then others you can do like 2 laps because there's an oval in this game, and you can do like 2 laps because you can do 2 laps around the oval in this game before someone will come out of the pit, so you could do 2 laps before having the pit. And then weather also comes into it because sometimes the AI, when it'll change here in this bottom right corner, it'll say, oh, well, we're going to go to rain, and then the AI will pit like 2 laps after that, and then it'll be another 2 laps before the weather actually changes, and then now they're all on wets and it's not wet enough. Or when it gets dry, when it's raining, and then it'll say, oh, we'll go to dry. 2 laps after, they'll swap to dries, and then they'll swap to hard or soft tires, and they won't have enough grip, and they'll be really slow. And then 2 laps after, the weather actually changes, and that's when I pit. Because that's the actual optimal time, because that's when the weather genuinely calls for it. So enough rambling about that. Oh, we're not even going to be close enough to overtake. Let's at least pull my driver up a little bit closer to this pack, because this is what I was talking about earlier. With one lap after these AIs pit, we might get up to 10th, 9th, or maybe 8th, and that's not good enough. So we need to use a little bit of fuel to make our way up the pack, so that when they pit, we're in a much better position to leapfrog them into a higher position, and that was just awful. We gained a position, but then immediately lost that position, so we're still in 14th. Normally, I wouldn't recommend overtaking here, but I need to get my driver past expert racing. Don't run out of room. Pass them. Pass them. There we go, finally. That took some time. So again, we need to make our way up the pack. Make our way through the pack. So that when we get the chance to leapfrog, we're in a very, very good position. So that when we get the chance to leapfrog, we'll have a much greater buffer for when we then have to overtake. Because that's what it's all about with that strategy, is getting such a big buffer that when you pit, you don't lose out too much. So, like, when we were second, well, when we pit, we drop down the order, but when everyone else pits, we get back up into the same position because we had that buffer. They had to make up time before they passed us, rather than our team, having to make up time when they pass us in the pits. So instead of us having a net loss because we're further down the pack when we pit, we get a net gain because we're further up. And that's the whole point. So I think, okay, they're not pitting yet. I don't think we're going to be able to pass 3 cars. I've done it, but I don't think we'll be able to pass 3 cars in this one straight. The last corner is just too slow. My driver doesn't get off it well enough. So we're going to use the ECU. KERS. Okay, ECU plus KERS to get that overtake, and we did. Unfortunately, the 2 people in front of me right now, Enersys Racing and Shell Helix, got enough of a gap to Racing Norway. Got enough of a gap to basically cover my overtake on them. That's not brilliant. Thankfully, though, we're close right now, so we should once again be able to make another overtake. How low? Yeah, we're going to have to pit. Please be on the right corner. Yep. I have to say, the driver at least my driver, perhaps it's due to the fact that he doesn't have enough upgrades, tends to brake really, really early, actually. I've occasionally used the curves to actually force him to brake later, because he just does not brake enough. Or doesn't brake late enough.